Welcome to my site, everybody. My name is Paul Smyers. I'm a practicing real estate agent in the central part of Virginia. Beautiful Shenandoah Valley, as you see behind me here. And I specialize in rural property. And one of the questions that we often get out in the countryside is, how can I get some employment out there? What kind of work, what kind of jobs are available, and so on. So I want to talk a little bit about that today, especially in my particular area. But generally speaking, out in the rural areas, you'll find a lot of the tradespeople who have equipment and materials that they need to store. Maybe they're a contractor, plumber, something like that. And those kind of people need a little bit more land and some liberal zoning for them to operate their business. Specifically in the middle of Virginia here, you have a number of medium-sized cities: Waynesboro, Charlottesville, and Stanton, Lexington. So let's talk a little bit about that. We have, for example, Route 81 that runs down the Shenandoah Valley from right up here down this way. And you have a lot of transportation. You also have a road going across from West Virginia that comes up and goes over to Richmond and so on and down to the coastline. So you have a lot of transportation jobs, truck driving, all kinds of transportation. Also, you have all the services that are related to transportation, like the mechanics and so on, the sales of big vehicles and so on. But you also have a lot of recreation and tourism. Anywhere where you have a beautiful area like the Shenandoah Valley, it tends to attract people from around the country, anywhere around the state or northeast or southeast. They come for hunting and fishing and visiting their relatives. So we have a lot of that going on here too. Airbnbs, hip camps, big, huge recreational facilities, and so on. And another thing, you have weddings, and we have a lot of schools here. We have colleges, and they attract the graduation and so on. The people come in for the celebrations and all the facilities that go on in relation to universities and colleges. We also have quite a bit of medical facilities here. Charlottesville, you have University of Virginia. There's a medical facility. There's a lot of that going on in the beautiful Central Virginia area. So it has a lot of variety. The area where I live in here, which is basically down here, I'm part of this regional area here in the lower Shenandoah Valley. Or actually, the Shenandoah River goes up here, but this generally is considered the whole Shenandoah Valley. There's a lot of history here, a lot of universities and so on. So it's a very vigorous economy that's based on a lot of different activities. We have a lot of food production. Of course, wherever there's farms, you have the animal care and all the things that are related to products needed to support a farm. And we have the mechanics and so on that need to take care of all the equipment. So it's really a very busy economic area where I happen to live. So I encourage people to look into that a little bit. I suggest people that if they come here from another town and they wonder what they're going to find for work, that they do a little research and experimenting, maybe come and visit the area. And if you have any questions, maybe call me. I love to correspond with people and help them answer questions. It's a big deal when you move. But again, I want to emphasize that this central part of Virginia here has a lot of different economic activities going on. And of course, you have all the related services like fire, police, all that kind of stuff. We have a lot of forest rangers and so on, and national parks here. We have the historic Washington National Forest and Jefferson National Forest. So I would encourage people, again, to contact people like myself in the area. If you have any relatives or if you're thinking of moving to this area, just do a little research. You'll find out that it's a really interesting area to live in. Charlottesville has an airport, Roanoke has an airport, and Lynchburg also has an airport. So you have that going on as well. So I just wanted to help people out a little bit, give them a little pointers in the area of economics. If you want to live in a rural area, it's a little bit different. You don't necessarily get on a train and go to work every day. Instead, you don't necessarily even have to commute. And one other thing, and final mention, is that we have a lot of opportunity now, as you know, to work from home with various kinds of internet businesses. And as a real estate agent, I work from home basically all the time. We have an office meeting by Zoom now and then, but basically we work from our own office at home, and there's a lot of that going on. So that's another aspect about living in the country. You can actually produce some income on your own property with a little bit of excess income. Like I have a hip camp facility here. I have guests that come here and stay for a few nights in the tents and so on, and that gives me a little extra income. So if you have any questions about the economic activity going on in this part of Virginia, feel free to contact me, and I'll try to answer some questions. So thanks again for listening. Hope you enjoy some of my other content, and hope to see you in some of my other videos. Thanks.